Rain slammed against the cracked window of my small studio apartment, each drop sounding like a tiny hammer tapping at the glass. I'd been living in this forgotten corner of Chicago for 3 months, but I still jumped at every sudden noise. My hand trembled slightly as I dabbed concealer over the fading yellow bruise beneath my left eye, the last thing Ryan left me before I ran. "Just temporary," I whispered to my reflection. It had become my mantra. The peeling wallpaper, the rusty pipes, the flickering light in the bathroom, this whole apartment. It was all just temporary. The nightmares that tore me from sleep night after night, heart pounding like it wanted to burst through my ribs. Temporary. The constant feeling that someone was watching me, that I was never quite safe. Temporary. That's what I kept telling myself. I tucked a strand of copper-colored hair behind my ear, examining myself in the mirror. My green eyes looked dull, sunken from sleepless nights. My cheekbones were sharper, more pronounced from skipped meals. My clothes, even the fitted ones, now hung on me like they belonged to someone else. The woman staring back was unfamiliar. Just a shadow of the girl I used to be, back before Ryan tore me down piece by piece. My phone buzzed, and my heart seized, until I remembered. Ryan couldn't reach me. Not here. I'd changed my number. I deleted every social media account. I dyed my naturally blonde hair into this rusty copper. I vanished. The text was from Mia, my only friend in this city. "Got you that job interview. Vertigo, 7 p.m. tonight. Don't be late. Wear something nice. Vertigo." According to Mia, it was one of the most exclusive bars in the city. She said she had a connection who might be able to get me in. The tips alone could help me save enough to move again. Somewhere Ryan would never find me. Somewhere I could really start over. I pulled the only decent dress I owned out of the closet. A simple black number that still hugged what little was left of my curves. Another gift from Ryan, ironically, but I didn't have the luxury of being sentimental. I needed this job more than my pride. By the time I stepped outside, the rain had slowed, but the air was thick and sticky. I clutched my cheap umbrella like a shield as I followed the hand-drawn map Mia had given me. It led through shortcuts and alleys I normally would have avoided, but I couldn't risk being late. When I finally reached Vertigo, it looked nothing like the buildings around it. Sleek black glass and chrome panels gleamed under the city lights, like a futuristic fortress planted between 2 crumbling brick shells. A line of sharply dressed people snaked around the block, men and women in designer outfits and clouds of expensive perfume. Suddenly, I felt painfully out of place. My chipped nail polish, the tiny scuff on my thrifted heels, it all stood out. I approached the entrance anyway. The bouncer, a mountain of a man with hands like dinner plates, didn't even glance at me. "Back of the line," he grunted. I'm here for an interview. Mia sent me," I managed to say, my voice much smaller than I intended. He paused at the mention of Mia. His eyes flicked to mine, then he gave a small nod toward a discreet door on the side. "Through there. Ask for Anton." I stepped through the side entrance into a dimly lit hallway that smelled faintly of expensive liquor and a more expensive kind of cologne. The beat of the music from the club vibrated through the walls, thumping under my feet as I walked further in. My heart pounded. I had no idea what I was walking into. At the end of the hallway, a young woman stood waiting. She had a sleek black bob and eyeliner sharp enough to cut glass. "You must be Ellie," she said, scanning me with a precise, unreadable look. "I'm Vivian. Anton's busy. I'll take you to his office." I followed her through a winding maze of corridors. The exposed brick gave way to smooth, dark wood. The thumping music faded until the silence felt heavy, almost deliberate. Vivian stopped in front of a polished wooden door and knocked twice, then slipped inside, leaving me alone. The hallway stretched out in both directions, decorated with abstract art that probably cost more than everything I owned. I shifted my weight from one foot to the other, nerves coiling tighter in my chest. I didn't belong here. The thought echoed over and over, then the door opened. "He'll see you now," Vivian said. The office was large and dimly lit. A massive desk stood near the floor-to-ceiling windows that overlooked the rainy city. Behind the desk, no one. "Mr. Soloff will be with you shortly," Vivian said, gesturing to a leather chair. "Please have a seat. I perched on the edge of the seat, too tense to relax. The room was spotless, without a single personal photo. It smelled like sandalwood and something sharper. Metallic, maybe. It reminded me of Ryan's obsessively neat apartment, and I hated that my mind even went there. I reached into my bag for my resume just as I heard the door click shut behind me. Before I even turned, I felt him. "Miss Eleanor Hayes," a voice said. It was smooth and low, like steel wrapped in silk. His accent hinted at wealth and private schools. I rose, turning to face him. He wasn't what I expected. Mid-30s, maybe. Devastatingly handsome, but not in a warm way. Dangerous. His dark hair was slicked back, his features all sharp lines and deep shadows. And his eyes, icy blue and intense, looked like they could cut right through you. He wore a tailored suit that fit him like a second skin, but it wasn't his appearance that made me freeze. It was the way he looked at me, like he saw past everything, the makeup, the dress, the fragile confidence, and straight into the parts I tried hardest to hide. I extended my hand. "Mr. Soloff, thank you for seeing me." He took my hand. His grip was firm but not punishing, warm and controlled, nothing like Ryan's bone-crushing shake. "Anton." "Please," he said, with a polite smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Mia speaks highly of you." I wondered what Mia had told him. What secrets she'd shared in her effort to help me. "Please sit." He gestured to the chair I'd just left and leaned against the front of his desk instead of sitting behind it. A subtle move, but it left him towering over me. A power play. "So, Eleanor," he said, head tilted slightly, "tell me why you want to work at Vertigo." I'd practiced the answer. Something about customer service and new beginnings, but under his gaze, all the rehearsed lines evaporated. "I need a fresh start," I blurted out, and I heard the tips are good. Something flickered in his eyes. Amusement, maybe? "Direct, that's rare. Most people try to flatter me with their passion for mixology." I should have said something clever in return. Something that would help land the job, but I was stuck. Frozen in that icy gaze. Anton turned and walked to the window, hands clasped behind his back as he stared out at the rain-slicked city. "You've never worked at a high-end place before," he said. It wasn't a question. "No," I admitted, "but I'm a fast learner and I work hard." "I don't doubt that." He turned to face me again. "There's something haunted about you, Eleanor. Like you're running from something, or someone." My blood ran cold. "I don't know what you mean." He raised a hand. "I'm not asking for your story. We all have our pasts. What matters to me is whether you can do the job, and whether I can trust you. Finally, something I could handle." "I can do both," I said, steady now. Anton studied me for a long moment, then nodded once. "You start tomorrow. 8 sharp. Vivian will give you the handbook. Read it thoroughly. Just like that, I had the job. No questions about my resume. No references. No background checks that would trace back to Ryan. Relief hit me so hard my knees nearly gave out. "Thank you," I said, rising. "You won't regret it." "I rarely regret my decisions, Eleanor." Vivian reappeared to lead me out. I turned to follow her, but Anton's voice stopped me. "One last thing," he said, his tone like a knife sliding into velvet. My heart dropped. "The bruise under your makeup, it's healing nicely. Make sure there aren't any more." My hand flew to my cheek. Good night, Eleanor." The conversation was over. Vivian led me out, and I stumbled back into the rain, too numb to open my umbrella. I'd gotten the job. I could stay in Chicago, start over. But as I crossed the street, I missed the black SUV idling nearby. I didn't see the man inside speaking into an earpiece. I didn't know that by taking this job, I hadn't escaped one cage. I'd just walked straight into another, this one lined with velvet. But a cage, nonetheless. Sleep barely touched me that night. I lay curled on my lumpy mattress, covers tangled around my legs, staring at the ceiling while Anton's voice echoed in my head. The way he said my name, Eleanor, like it meant something. The way he looked at me, past me, it rattled me more than I wanted to admit. By morning, The adrenaline had faded, leaving me bone-tired but buzzing with a strange kind of nervous energy. I sat at my small table, the employee handbook open in front of me. Sleek black cover, silver Vertigo logo embossed across the front like it was some secret society. I read it twice. Every page, every line, dress code, all black. Subtle jewelry, makeup elegant, not flashy. Rules: never sit with customers unless invited. Never accept drinks while on shift. Never speak about what happens at Vertigo once you walk out the door. Hierarchy: bartenders on top. Then servers. Then barbacks and support staff. Everyone answered to Natasha, the head bartender, and, of course, Anton. I spent most of the day preparing. Washed my hair until it shone. Painted my nails a dark burgundy that could pass for black under low lighting. Practiced walking in the only decent heels I had left. All of it just a distraction to keep me from thinking about Anton's final words. That bruise under your makeup. It's healing nicely. He saw it. How? I'd layered that concealer like a mask. What else had he seen? Mia called around noon, her voice crackling with static and something that sounded like relief. You got the job. I did. I knew you would. Anton doesn't usually make snap decisions, but I told him you were perfect. I hesitated. What exactly did you tell him? Just that you needed a break. That you were reliable. A pause. Nothing personal. The way her voice shifted told me everything. You told him about Ryan. Not details, she said quickly. Just that you were leaving a bad situation. Anton. He has resources, Ellie. If your ex ever shows up again, Anton could make sure he regrets it. A chill ran down my spine. What kind of bar owner has those kinds of resources? Another pause. Longer this time. Anton's family has been in Chicago for generations. They have connections. She lowered her voice like someone might be listening. Look, just do your job. Be professional. Anton's fair. Loyal even. That's all you need to know. Then she hung up, leaving me with more questions than answers. By the time I arrived at Vertigo, it was just past 7:30, 30 minutes early. Just in case. The bouncer from last night gave me a nod and pointed me toward a different entrance marked staff only. Inside, the employee area was surprisingly plain. White walls, metal lockers, a coffee pot that looked older than me. A long mirror stretched across one wall, surrounded by a cluttered mess of hair tools and makeup bags. A few other women were already there, slipping into sleek uniforms and reapplying lipstick with practiced speed. Vivian appeared beside me with her usual clipboard and perfectly unbothered expression. Locker 17. Uniforms inside, 15 minutes to get dressed and meet Natasha at the main bar. The uniform was better than I expected. Black fitted shirt, silver Vertigo logo stitched over the heart, and tailored pants that somehow made my hips look like they hadn't disappeared after months of stress. I changed quickly, feeling the weight of curious stares. As I struggled with the thin black tie that completed the look, a tall blonde with cheekbones like blades walked over. She batted my hands away and tied the knot perfectly, not saying a word until she finished. You're Anton's new project. It wasn't a question. I'm just a new hire, I said, trying to keep my voice even. Her laugh was musical but hollow. Anton doesn't personally interview bar staff. That's what managers are for. She stepped back, giving me another once-over. I'm Natasha, head bartender. You'll shadow me tonight. The main bar was stunning, a dark wood horseshoe surrounded by velvet booths and shimmering tables. Behind the bar, glass shelves showcased bottles I couldn't pronounce, arranged like art. The kind of place you'd see in movies. Sleek, rich, intimidating. Natasha moved like she owned it. She checked inventory, adjusted bottles, gave sharp instructions to the other staff. She was efficient, cool, dangerous in a way that had nothing to do with violence. Watch everything I do, she told me. Don't touch unless I tell you to. Don't talk to customers unless spoken to. And if Anton or any of his people come in, let me handle them. Understand? I nodded. She didn't wait for more. The club opened at 9. By 9:30, the crowd had started to swell. Rich, loud, impossibly attractive. Older men with girls half their age. Women in high heels that cost more than my rent. And a few groups that didn't match the glamour, but moved like they owned the place anyway. I watched Natasha like my life depended on it. And maybe, in a way, it did. She crafted cocktails like a magician, fast, flawless, engaging. Smiles when needed, stone-faced when not. Every movement had purpose. "Remember faces," she murmured as she muddled mint for a mojito. Anton values people who know regulars by name, what they drink, who they come with. I was memorizing bottle positions when the mood in the club changed. It was subtle. Voices dipped, postures straightened. People looked toward the VIP corner. Natasha didn't even glance up. She reached for a specific bottle, clear glass, Cyrillic letters, separated from the rest. She poured it into a crystal tumbler and placed it on a tray. "He's here," she said under her breath. "Stay behind the bar. Don't move." She stepped into the crowd like a wave parting just for her. Heads turned. Conversations paused. I didn't even need to see him to know. He was watching me, Anton. I felt it in the space between my shoulder blades. The same chill I felt in his office. When Natasha returned, her expression gave away nothing. "Anton wants you to bring his next drink," she said, like it was no big deal. "In an hour. He says you'll know when." My mouth went dry. "What does he drink?" "You saw the bottle. 2 fingers. Neat. No ice." She gave me a long, calculating look. "What did you do to catch his attention like that?" "Nothing," I said. "I don't know why he's interested." She stared at me for another second, then shrugged like it was my funeral. The next hour passed in a blur. Ice buckets, garnishes, fetching napkins. I didn't touch a single bottle. Didn't speak unless spoken to, but I watched. Learned. Absorbed. And then, exactly at the 1-hour mark, I felt it again. That heat. That pull. I looked up. Anton was sitting alone now. No associates, no distractions. Just him in a charcoal suit, white shirt unbuttoned at the collar, a platinum chain glinting beneath. He raised his empty glass and held my gaze across the crowded room. A silent summons. My hands trembled as I picked up the bottle. The vodka caught the light like molten glass. I poured carefully, exactly 2 fingers, placed the tumbler on a tray, and began the long walk across the club. It felt like walking into fire. Security flanked the VIP booth. Tall, silent, watching. Anton tracked every step I took. Not smiling, not speaking, just watching. I reached the table, set the drink down in front of him. "Educational," I said, surprising myself with the steadiness in my voice when he asked how my first night was going. He smiled. "Barely. Sit," he said, motioning to the booth beside him. When I hesitated, he added, "It's not a request." I slid in, careful to keep distance between us, up close. He smelled like cedar, spice, and something warmer, not cologne. Him. He sipped the drink, those icy eyes still locked on mine. "Tell me something true, Eleanor," he said softly. "Not the version you give to everyone else." "Something real." I blinked. "I'm not sure what you mean." "Yes, you are. One truth." That's all he asked. And for some reason I couldn't stop myself. "I'm scared all the time," I whispered. Even before Ryan. I always felt like something bad was going to happen. And when it finally did, it was almost a relief. Like the monster under the bed finally showed itself. Anton didn't react. Not in any way I could see. But something changed behind his eyes. "And now you wonder if you've traded one monster for another," he said. I didn't answer. I didn't have to. "Your monster," he said after a beat. "Does he have a name?" My throat clenched. "You don't have to tell me," Anton added quickly. "Names have power. You'll say it when you're ready." Then he leaned in, just enough to make my heart stutter. "And when you are, when you want to be free of him for real, tell me. I'll make sure he never haunts you again." A chill swept through me. "Part fear, part something else. Is that what you do?" I asked. "Make people disappear?" He laughed, low and real. "I'm a businessman. I provide services people want. This club," he gestured around us, "is one of the more legitimate ones." I should have stood up. Should have left. Instead, I asked, "Why me? Why offer me a job when you clearly didn't need to?" Anton tilted his head, studying me. "Maybe I recognized something in you. Maybe I wanted to see if you'd step into the unknown, instead of staying in the familiar hell you escaped. And which did I choose?" His smile sharpened. That remains to be seen. He looked past me, subtle. One of his men nodded. You should get back to the bar, Anton said. Natasha's probably wondering where you are. I slid out of the booth, but before I could leave, his voice stopped me again. One more thing, Eleanor. I turned. His eyes were darker now, serious. The handbook says discretion is mandatory. Take that seriously. What happens in Vertigo stays in Vertigo. What happens in my presence stays between us. Break that trust and things won't end well. My breath caught. I understand, I whispered. And Eleanor, his gaze dipped to my hair. The copper suits you, but I wonder what you looked like as a blonde. My blood turned to ice. He knew. My blood turned to ice. He knew. Somehow he knew. I walked back to the bar, heart pounding. Natasha gave me a look. She didn't ask anything. The rest of the shift passed in a blur of orders and drinks and forced smiles. By the end of the night, my feet ached and my mind raced, but the envelope Natasha handed me, my share of tips, was enough to make it worthwhile. You survived, she said. Most don't when Anton takes personal interest. I didn't know if it was a warning or encouragement. Either way, I was in too deep to back out now. The black SUV from the night before was parked across the street again. This time I noticed it. The window cracked open. Just enough for a flash of smoke to drift out. Then it rolled away. I walked home alone, every sound making me flinch. Every shadow looking too much like the past I tried to outrun. Anton's words echoed in my head. Survivor's instinct. Maybe that's what brought me here. Maybe I hadn't escaped the fire after all. Maybe I'd just stepped into a new one. Only this time, I wasn't sure if I wanted to leave. The next 2 weeks passed like a dream I didn't want to wake from, and that terrified me. Vertigo became a rhythm. The clink of glass, the hum of music, the blur of perfume and laughter and lies whispered in velvet booths. I moved through it all like I'd been born for this, blending in, listening, learning. Natasha started trusting me with more responsibilities. She never said it, but I could feel it in the way she didn't hover anymore, the way she passed me bottles without explanation, knowing I'd get the mix right. Anton didn't summon me again after that night in the booth, but he watched me. Every night without fail, he came in. Sometimes with people, men in tailored suits, women who looked like they stepped off runways, the kind of people who carried power like a second skin. Sometimes alone, but always with that same unreadable gaze, and every night I felt his eyes on me. Not in a possessive way, not exactly, it was quieter than that, like he was waiting for something. Meanwhile, the black SUV kept showing up, always parked across from Vertigo. Always idling, never moving until I left for the night. And every time I passed it, I felt that familiar chill crawl up my spine. I didn't tell Mia. I didn't tell anyone. If it was Ryan, he hadn't come close yet, and I wasn't about to show fear. One night, just after close, I stayed behind to help clean. Natasha had gone home early, and it was just me, a couple of barbacks, and the security staff locking down for the night. I was wiping down the counter when I heard footsteps. Slow, measured. Anton appeared from the back office, dressed in all black, no tie tonight. His sleeves were rolled up, showing forearms inked with faint, unreadable script. He leaned against the bar, watching me work. "You don't flinch anymore," he said, voice calm. I glanced up, surprised. "Should I be flinching?" "Most people do," he said with a faint smirk. "Especially around me." "I've flinched enough in my life," I said, not looking away. He nodded like he understood. Then he asked, "Is someone following you?" The question landed like a slap. I dropped the cloth. "What?" "There's a man, older SUV. Shows up every night you work. Parked across the street." "You haven't told anyone," I didn't answer. My mouth had gone dry. "I need to know," Anton said. "Is it your husband?" My silence gave him all the answer he needed. Anton straightened. His expression shifted, no longer calm, no longer curious. Cold, focused, like something inside him had clicked into place. "What's his name?" he asked. I don't You don't have to be afraid of him anymore, Eleanor. I'm not afraid, I lied. I'm trying to handle it. You've already handled it. You left, he said. But now it's my turn. No, I said quickly. I don't want anyone hurt. Anton raised an eyebrow. Then maybe he shouldn't have put his hands on you. He turned and walked away without another word. I didn't sleep that night. Didn't go home. Sat in the employee lounge until sunrise, staring at the floor, trying to decide if I'd just made a mistake. If telling Anton, if not stopping him, was the same as giving permission. But deep down, part of me wanted Ryan to be afraid. That part of me, the one I used to hate, was waking up. 2 nights later, everything came crashing down. It started normal enough. Friday. Packed club. Lights low, music high. I was mixing a Manhattan when I saw Natasha stiffen. Her eyes flicked toward the entrance. I followed her gaze. Ryan. It took me a second to recognize him. He looked thinner, harsher, but the swagger was the same. That cruel smirk, the one he wore before he hit me. And he was staring straight at me. My hand shook. The drink I was making spilled over. Natasha grabbed my wrist, steady and sharp. Don't move. But you're under Anton's roof now, she said. You're safe. She nodded at one of the bouncers. 2 of them moved fast, like they'd been waiting for this. Ryan pushed past a server, stepping toward the bar, eyes locked on mine. Ellie, he said, loud enough to draw stares. You really thought you could hide from me? Sir, you need to leave, one of the bouncers said. Ryan didn't even blink. This your new boyfriend? That Russian prick you're working for? He paying you to pour drinks or to bend over his desk? The room went still. Natasha reached beneath the bar, pressed something. 2 more men appeared out of nowhere. Anton's men, not bouncers, his guys. You could feel it. Ryan noticed too. He turned to run. He didn't make it. 4 of them were on him before he reached the door. It wasn't loud. No shouting, no fists, just precision, controlled force. Like they'd rehearsed this. They dragged him toward the back. Anton stepped out from the shadows, calm as ever. He didn't look at me. He looked at Ryan. And for the first time in my life, I saw Ryan afraid, really afraid. I believe you've met my employee, Eleanor Hayes, Anton said, voice like ice. You're trespassing. I'm not scared of you, Ryan snapped. Though his voice cracked, Anton stepped closer. You should be. Then he looked at one of his men. Bring him to me. They disappeared into the back. Anton turned to me. Finally. You're shaking, he said gently. I didn't even realize I was. Come, he said. You don't need to be here for the rest. Natasha gave me a look, half warning, half sympathy, but didn't stop me. Anton led me through the staff corridor to the private elevator. He didn't speak. Neither did I. The elevator opened into a massive penthouse above the club. Glass walls, dark furniture, city lights stretching forever. He gestured to the couch. Sit, I did. He poured 2 drinks. Handed me one, I sipped. It burned, but it helped. You're safe now, he said quietly. He won't touch you again. Are you going to kill him? He didn't answer right away. I'm going to ensure he understands the concept of final boundaries. That should have scared me, but it didn't. It comforted me. I don't know who you really are, I said, but I don't think you're just a club owner. I'm not. Then why help me? Anton's eyes met mine, dark and unreadable. Because I don't like men who hurt women, he said. And because you didn't break when he tried to. That matters more than you realize. I looked out the window. The city felt different from up here. Smaller. Less threatening. And for the first time in a long time, I wasn't looking over my shoulder. Anton sat beside me. Not too close. Not touching. Just there. Watching the night with me. Whatever came next. I wasn't facing it alone anymore. The morning light poured through the penthouse windows like melted gold, but I didn't feel warm. I sat wrapped in one of Anton's oversized blankets on the velvet couch, staring out at a city that looked softer from this high up. as if it couldn't touch me anymore. I hadn't meant to sleep here. One moment I was nursing a second drink, trying to quiet the echo of Ryan's voice in my head, and the next I was waking up to the scent of leather, sandalwood, and silence. Anton had let me be. He was nowhere in sight now. The clock read 9:12 a.m. I stood, barefoot on hardwood floors that gleamed like they were polished daily. The entire place was wrapped in glass, every wall offering a perfect view of the skyline. It felt surreal, too clean, too quiet, like a life someone else was living, and I'd accidentally wandered in. I wandered into the kitchen and found a note beside a mug. Help yourself to anything. Get some rest. Anton beneath it was a single key on a silver chain. I touched it but didn't pick it up. Not yet. I brewed coffee slowly, grounding myself in something normal. Something human. Ryan was gone. Not dead, I didn't think so, but gone. And for the first time in over a year, I didn't have to wonder if he was behind me. Didn't have to flinch at shadows or second-guess every step I took outside. But peace didn't come instantly. Not when the scars ran this deep. My phone buzzed on the counter. Mia, you okay? Heard what happened. Anton told me not to worry, but I'm worried anyway. I smiled despite myself. I'm okay. Scared, but okay. He took care of it. Her response came fast. Told you. That man may be scary as hell, but he protects what's his. I stared at the words longer than I should have. What's his? Was that what I was now? Or was this still temporary? The elevator dinged, and I spun, heart jumping before I reminded myself I was safe. Anton stepped out, dressed in a simple black t-shirt and tailored dark jeans. No suit today, he looked normal, almost, but his presence still filled the room like gravity, heavy, inevitable. He saw me and nodded once. You slept. I didn't mean to, I said quickly. He waved it off. You needed it. We stood there, the silence settling between us like dust. Finally, I asked, what happened to him? Anton poured himself a coffee, taking his time. He's no longer a problem, he said simply. That's not an answer. He glanced at me, his expression unreadable. You don't want the answer. Yes, I do. Anton set his cup down gently. Do you want him dead, Eleanor? The question dropped between us like a blade. I want him to suffer, I said before I could stop myself. Like I did. He nodded, like that was fair. Then trust that he is. I didn't press further. I didn't want to know what Anton had done. Not really. And maybe he was right. Maybe I didn't need to. Instead, I asked the question that had been eating at me since that first night. How did you know? About the bruise, about the hair color, about me. Anton walked to the window, staring out over the city like the answers were written in the skyline. I make it my business to know who I hire, he said, especially when Mia vouches for someone as hard as she did for you. That doesn't explain how you knew I was hiding from someone. He looked back at me then. Something flickered in his eyes, something almost human. Because I've seen that look before, in someone I cared about. He didn't say anything more, and I didn't push. Not then. Instead, I asked, why did you let me stay here last night? You needed a place to feel safe. That's not usually your job. No, he agreed. But I made it mine. That silenced me. He moved to the living room and handed me the key. I held it in my palm, its weight heavier than it looked. This opens the private elevator from the club, he said. You can come up here if you ever feel unsafe again. This is your home, I said. Yes. And it's also a shelter. For you. If you need it. I didn't ask what he expected in return, but he must have seen the question in my eyes. I don't want anything from you, Eleanor, he said softly. Not unless you offer it. I didn't know what to say to that. Instead, I nodded, clutched the key like it meant something, and maybe it did. Weeks passed. I kept working, watching, learning, and healing. It wasn't fast. The scars weren't just on my skin. They were in how I jumped when someone touched my shoulder, in how I flinched at raised voices, in the way I still sometimes reached for my phone in the middle of the night expecting a threat that would never come. But slowly, the fear lessened. Anton didn't push. He didn't hover. He didn't ask personal questions. but I could feel him, watching, protecting, waiting. Sometimes he would appear at the bar with a quiet word or a drink handed over without a word. Sometimes he would disappear for days at a time, off doing God knows what, and the club would feel colder without him. And sometimes he would linger too long in the doorway, his eyes holding mine like he wanted to say something and didn't know how. One night, after a particularly busy shift, I went upstairs. The key felt warm in my hand. He was there, sitting in silence, sipping whiskey, the city lights painting shadows across his face. "Couldn't sleep?" he asked. "Didn't want to go home." He gestured to the couch. I sat, and that was it. We didn't speak much. We didn't need to. There was something about Anton's presence, quiet, firm, that steadied me, grounded me, and I started to crave it in ways I didn't understand yet. Later that night, I asked about the woman in the photo on his desk, a girl with the same pale blue eyes. He hesitated, then said, "Katya, my sister. She's beautiful." She was. That was hit me hard. "She died?" He nodded once. "A long time ago. She was like you." I turned to look at him. "How?" "She had a fire in her," he said. "But she trusted the wrong person." What happened? I wasn't there to protect her. The way he said it, flat, cold, told me the guilt still lived in him, buried under layers of power and control. "I'm sorry," I said quietly. He didn't respond. But when I leaned my head against the back of the couch, he didn't move away. For a long time, we just sat there. No words, no pressure. Just two ghosts keeping each other company in a glass box above a world we no longer belonged to. And for the first time since Ryan, I felt something dangerous. I felt safe, not in the way you feel safe locking your door at night, but in the way you feel when someone knows exactly how broken you are and chooses to stay anyway. The line between comfort and something more crept in quietly, like steam under a door. At first, it was small things. Anton started walking me home after late shifts, saying little, keeping distance. But he always waited until I was inside my building, his presence silent and protective, like a shadow that stood between me and the dark. Then it was dinners, sometimes just leftovers in his penthouse after the club closed, sometimes full meals ordered from restaurants I could never afford. He never made it feel like a date. There was no hand on the small of my back, no rehearsed charm. Just conversation, quiet, curious, and then it became touches, soft, subtle, his hand brushing mine as he passed a glass, a thumb grazing my wrist when I handed him something, the occasional press of his palm on the small of my back when he guided me through a crowd. And every time, my heart stuttered, not from fear, from something much more dangerous. Want. It scared me, how much I wanted him. Because I didn't just want his attention, I wanted his approval, his gaze, his protection. I wanted to crawl inside that cool stillness he wore and hide there until I forgot who I used to be. And Anton, he never rushed. He watched me like a man waiting for the exact moment a lock clicks open. And then one night, it did. It started with a headache. The music had been too loud, the lights too harsh. Every sound in the bar hit my skull like a hammer, and by the end of the shift, I could barely think straight. Anton noticed before anyone else. He caught me on my way out, his brow furrowing when I rubbed my temple. "You're in pain." "It's just a migraine," I said. "Come upstairs." I didn't argue. The elevator ride was silent. His hand hovered near my lower back but didn't touch me. When the doors opened, the penthouse lights were dim, soft shadows curling around every edge. He poured water, brought aspirin, sat beside me on the couch. I took it all gratefully. "You should lie down," he said, voice low. "I'll go home soon." "You'll stay," he said, not as a demand but as a fact. I didn't protest. Instead, I leaned back and let the silence wrap around me. He watched me for a moment, then stood and returned with a blanket, gently draping it over me. But when he turned to leave, I reached out, fingers curled around his wrist. "Stay," I whispered. He stilled, and then he sat beside me again, closer this time. My hand slid from his wrist to his fingers. He didn't pull away. "Why do you do it?" I asked. "Take people like me in." "Protect women like me. What do you get from it?" His jaw tensed. "You think I'm buying your loyalty? I think you don't do anything without a reason." His gaze locked with mine. Cold, heated, something in between. "I do it," he said, voice barely above a breath. "Because no one did it for Katya." The name hung between us. I didn't speak. He looked away. Into the dark. He looked away. Into the dark. "I tried to save her," he said. "But I was too late. I gave her money, security, told her to leave him. She wouldn't. And when she finally did, he killed her. I didn't move, didn't breathe. She was 22, Anton said. Soft, gentle. She didn't belong in this world. She tried to survive it, but some men don't let go of what they think they own. Like Ryan." He nodded. "That's why you helped me." "No," he said. "I helped you because you refused to stay broken." I turned toward him, and for the first time, he reached up and touched my face. His thumb traced the side of my cheek, the curve of my jaw. "I think about what he did to you," he said quietly. "And I feel rage I don't know what to do with." I leaned in. Just a breath. And Anton met me halfway. The kiss was slow, careful, not rushed or demanding. Just a touch of heat where everything else had been cold. And when he deepened it, hand sliding into my hair, I didn't pull away, because I wanted it. I wanted him. I let him kiss me until my lungs ached, and then we stopped. Together. Breathing hard, foreheads pressed. His hands trembled. "Just slightly. You don't have to do anything," he said, voice rough. "Not unless you want it." "I want it," I whispered, and I did. That night, we undressed each other with reverence, not lust. Not control, reverence. He was careful. He let me lead, let me pause. And when I finally gave him all of me, it felt like reclaiming something I thought I'd lost forever. My body, my voice, my choice. We didn't speak much after, just laid there, hearts slowing together in the dark, and for once, the silence between us wasn't made of trauma or fear. It was made of peace. The next morning, I woke wrapped in sheets that smelled like him. Anton was already up, standing shirtless by the window, coffee in hand. "Sleep okay?" he asked. "Better than I have in years." He turned to me, eyes softer than usual. "You don't have to leave yet." "I should get to work," I said. "You don't work today." I frowned. "I don't?" "I gave you the day off. You can do that?" He smirked. "I own the building," I laughed, and it felt real. He walked over, brushed a kiss to my forehead, and handed me a cup. "Come sit," he said. And we did. Drank coffee. Talked about nothing. It was the closest thing I'd had to normal in years. But that was the thing about Anton. He wasn't normal, and neither was his world. Later that week, I started noticing things. The way people stepped aside when his name was mentioned. The way deliveries arrived at the club at strange hours, with unmarked boxes and no invoices. The way Vivian kept folders locked away in a drawer only Anton touched. And the way his men, Mikhail, Roman, Victor, never seemed far. Never looked relaxed. It wasn't just a nightclub. Vertigo was a front. Anton wasn't just a businessman. He was something else I didn't ask, not yet, because I wasn't ready for the answer. And part of me, God help, me was afraid it wouldn't matter, because I was falling and I wasn't sure I wanted to stop. The news broke on a quiet Thursday. The club had just closed, the last guests trickling out with lipstick-smeared smiles and coats draped over their shoulders. I was counting the last stack of bills behind the bar when Natasha's phone buzzed. One glance at the screen, and she froze. Then her eyes slowly lifted to meet mine. "You should go upstairs," she said. The tone in her voice wasn't suggestion. It was warning. "What is it?" I asked. "Anton wants to see you." I wiped my hands on a towel and headed toward the elevator, every step heavier than the last. Anton stood near the window, still in his suit from earlier, but his tie was gone and the top buttons of his shirt were open. He didn't turn when I entered, just lifted his glass and took a slow sip. I walked up behind him, heart pounding in my chest like it already knew. What happened? He didn't look at me. There's something I need to tell you before you see it anywhere else. See what? He finally turned, and when he did, I saw it in his eyes, regret, control, the strange calm that only comes after a storm. He handed me a phone. The screen was open to a news article, local. Man found dead in abandoned warehouse. Authorities investigating possible gang-related execution. Victim identified as Ryan Calloway. The room spun, my knees buckled, and I grabbed the edge of the coffee table to stay upright. No, I whispered. No, he was gone. You said he wouldn't be a problem. He isn't, Anton said quietly. You told me he'd suffer, I snapped. Not that he'd die. I told you I'd handle it. You killed him. He didn't answer. He didn't have to. I stared at the screen again. There were no photos, just vague statements about a man found with multiple gunshot wounds. No suspects, no leads. The article had been buried, probably on purpose. How? I asked. He sat on the edge of the couch, elbows on his knees. Does it matter? Yes, I said. It matters. I gave him warnings, told him to stay away from you, gave him a chance to disappear. And when he didn't, you executed him. He came back. Twice. I couldn't risk a third. I backed away from him. You had no right. I had every right, he said, voice hardening. He was a threat, and I remove threats. You didn't tell me, I said. You didn't even ask me. Because I knew what your answer would be. You'd try to protect him, forgive him. Let him linger. I've seen it before, Eleanor. People like Ryan don't stop until someone stops them. And that someone is you? I asked, voice cracking. Yes, he said simply. I stared at him, the truth finally settling like dust after a collapse. You're not just some powerful man in a suit, I said. You're not just protecting people. No, he said unflinching. I'm not. I never pretended to be something I'm not. You pretended to care. His expression flickered. For the first time, I saw real pain break through. I do care. That's why I did it. No, Anton, I said. You did it because it was easy. Because that's who you are. You solve problems with bullets. He stood, towering over me now. That's who I became, he said. After Katya. After I learned what it takes to make sure no one else ends up like her. I shook my head. I thought I was safe with you. You are. No, I'm not, I whispered. Because now I know what it costs. He moved toward me, but I stepped back. I can't live like this, I said, looking over my shoulder for a different reason. Wondering who you'll hurt next, who you'll kill for me. I wouldn't hurt you, he said, voice strained. I know, I said. That's what scares me. The silence between us felt colder than it ever had. I grabbed my coat from the arm of the couch, hands shaking. I need time, I said. He didn't try to stop me, didn't call after me. He just stood there, alone in his tower as I walked out into the night. I didn't go home, I didn't go to Mia's. I just walked for hours, through streets that smelled like wet pavement and regret. Ryan was gone, truly gone, and I hadn't. Cried not once, I didn't know if that made me free or numb. All I could think about was Anton's face, how calm he was, how sure, as if he'd killed a man for me and still expected me to thank him, and maybe part of me wanted to. But the other part, the part still trying to rebuild what Ryan destroyed, wanted nothing to do with blood and power. I checked into a hotel that smelled like bleach and cigarette smoke. Paid cash, no ID, old habits. I spent the night staring at the ceiling, heart thudding, questions circling like vultures. Was this my fault? Was Ryan's death what I'd secretly wished for? Had I traded one monster for another? Only this time, the monster smiled at me over dinner and kissed my skin like it was sacred. I didn't know anymore. I just knew I had to breathe. Alone. Anton didn't call, didn't text, didn't try to pull me back, which somehow hurt worse than if he had. 3 days passed. 3 silent, aching days. And on the 4th, a package arrived at the hotel. No name. Just my room number, written in perfect block letters. Inside, a velvet box, and inside that, the silver key. The one to his penthouse. Attached was a note. No explanations. No demands. Just a door you can open if you want to. AI stared at it for a long time. Because that was the thing about Anton. He never asked. He just waited, and part of me, despite everything, was already reaching for the key. I didn't use the key. Not at first. I carried it with me, tucked inside the front pocket of my jacket, close to my skin. But I never slipped it into the lock. Not yet. I needed space. Not from Anton's world exactly, but from his gravity. He was a storm, and when you stood too close, it was hard to tell whether you were safe or just numb. So, I moved out of the studio, took a job during the day waiting tables at a quiet diner 3 blocks from the lake. Cash tips, long shifts. Easy hours, no vodka bottles, no bodyguards, no secrets behind doors. Just eggs, coffee, and regulars who called me Hun without any weight behind it. Mia didn't understand. "You're running," she said, sitting across from me in the corner booth one rainy afternoon. "Maybe. He's not your ex, Ellie. He wouldn't hurt you. I know." "Then what is this?" I stirred my tea and watched the steam curl upward. This is me figuring out who I am without someone saving me. Mia didn't argue after that. I still dreamed of Anton sometimes, of his voice in the dark, his hand tracing my spine, but dreams were soft, safe. Reality was more complicated. It was easier to breathe without looking over my shoulder, without wondering if a favor would cost blood, without asking who would pay the price for my safety. And yet, every time I walked by the block where Vertigo shimmered under its neon sign, I slowed down, just a little. One night, I saw him, Anton, standing in the alley behind the club, cigarette in hand, suit slightly undone. He looked tired, human, not like a king in a glass tower, but like a man waiting for something. He didn't see me, or maybe he did. And maybe, in his quiet way, he was letting me see him. I kept walking, but the key felt heavier in my pocket that night. A week later, an envelope showed up at the diner. No name. Inside, a single sheet of paper. "Your ex's case has been closed. Officially ruled a drug-related execution. No further investigation. His past caught up with him. Not you, no signature, just that. Closure. Anton style. It should have felt like peace. But it felt more like a closed door with no handle on my side. I didn't sleep that night, not because of fear, but because of clarity. Wasn't running anymore. And maybe, just maybe, that meant I could walk back through a door with my eyes wide open. The penthouse was exactly how I remembered. It clean, quiet, elegant, like him. I let myself, and just after midnight, no one stopped me. The elevator recognized the key. The hallway felt warm under my feet. Anton wasn't in the living room, or the kitchen, but there was a low light glowing under his office door. I pushed it open. He was sitting at his desk, tie loosened, fingers steepled in front of him like he was waiting for Judgment Day. When he saw me, he didn't smile, didn't move, just watched me like he wasn't sure if I was real. I crossed the room slowly, laid the key on his desk. Then I sat. "I didn't come back because I needed protection," I said. "I didn't come back because I'm afraid. I came back because I choose to." His eyes darkened. "You shouldn't choose me, Eleanor. Why not? Because I've done terrible things. Because I'll do more. Because this world, my world, isn't kind. And you deserve soft things, clean things." "I didn't survive Ryan to live in a cage again," I said. "Even a golden one. This isn't a cage. Then let me walk in and out freely." He leaned back in his chair, studying me. "You're different." "I am. I didn't think you'd come back." "I wasn't sure I would," I said honestly. He exhaled. Slow, quiet. "Then why?" "Because I don't need a savior. But I want a partner. And I think Maybe that could be you. If you're willing to stop hiding behind power long enough to be human." His mouth twitched like he might argue, but he didn't. Instead, he stood and walked around the desk. When he reached me, he crouched, eye level now, grounded, no threats. I said, "No secrets," he replied. "No decisions for me. Only with you." I nodded once, and then I took his hand. Not because I needed saving, not anymore, but because I had finally learned the difference between being claimed and being chosen. Later, we sat together in silence again, just like before. But it felt different now. Stronger, sharper. Not built on protection, but on trust. And as I leaned against his shoulder, watching the city lights flicker beyond the glass walls, I whispered something I hadn't said to anyone in years. "Thank you for waiting." Anton's arm slid around my waist. And for the first time, I knew this wasn't the end of a story. It was the beginning of one we would write together. I moved back into the penthouse 2 weeks later, but not because Anton asked, because I asked. It didn't happen with roses and candlelight. There were no declarations, no grand gestures. It happened in the middle of a quiet morning, coffee in hand, sunlight spilling across the tile floor. "I don't want to keep leaving," I told him. His eyes had flicked up, guarded. "I want to come home," I said. His hand found mine without a word. And that was that. We didn't label anything. He never introduced me as his girlfriend. And I never asked what that made us. Instead, we made coffee in silence. We sat in the dark and watched storms roll in over the city. We existed together in the quiet spaces most people rush to fill. And somehow, it felt like enough. I went back to Vertigo, but only on my terms. 2 nights a week. No more. I still worked the diner during the day just because I liked it. I liked how people smiled when I brought them pancakes. I liked the routine, the calm. Mia came by often. She'd grin every time she saw me stepping out of the elevator in one of Anton's oversized button-downs. "Told you," she'd say. "You were never running. You were just circling your way back to where you belonged." Maybe she was right. But it didn't feel like I belonged to Anton. It felt like I belonged with him. There's a difference. The first time, I asked about Katya's grave. He tensed. We were in the middle of a quiet dinner, red wine, soft jazz humming in the background. "She's buried in the North Woods," he said. "Family plot, private. Will you take me?" He looked at me for a long time, then nodded. We went the next weekend, just the 2 of us. It was cold that morning, early spring, branches still bare. Her grave was simple, stone, clean, tended to regularly. Anton didn't say much. He stood with his hands in his pockets, staring down at the marker like he saw something I couldn't. I stepped beside him. "She would have liked you," he said finally. "You're not afraid of the dark." I looked at him. "Maybe I'm just not afraid of yours." He didn't speak, but he took my hand, and that silence felt like a promise. In time, I started writing again, just little things, snippets of thoughts, dreams, pieces of myself I hadn't dared to touch in years. Anton never asked to read them. But one day, I left a page out on the table by mistake. When I returned from a shower, it was still there, a second sheet beside it. His handwriting, just a single line. It takes strength to survive pain, but it takes even more to create from it. I cried that night, not because I was broken, but because I wasn't. Not anymore. The apartment became ours in slow, steady ways. My shoes by the door, my books on the shelf, my scent on the pillows. We didn't talk about the past often, but sometimes, late at night, he'd tell me things. About deals gone wrong, about choices he couldn't undo, about the night Katya died, and the man who paid for it. And I listened. Not because I needed to approve, but because love, real love, means facing the sharp edges too. And sometimes, I told him things I'd never said aloud. About the first time Ryan hit, Me. About how long I stayed, about the moment I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize myself anymore. And Anton listened the same way. Still. Silent. Unflinching. As if all the pieces of me, broken or not, were worth holding. One night, months later, I stood at the balcony window in one of his shirts, my shirt now, watching the lights below. He came up behind me, wrapped his arms around my waist. "Do you miss the woman you were before all this?" he asked. I thought about it, then I shook my head. She was quiet. She was scared. She was hoping someone would save her. And now, I save myself, I said. He kissed the back of my shoulder. "And me?" he asked. I turned, met his eyes. "You don't save me," I said. "You stand beside me." He smiled then, the real one, the rare one, the one that made the city disappear. We never got married, never needed to. Some love doesn't come with rings or contracts, some. Love just is. We didn't become saints. Anton's world never became clean, but he kept his promises, and I kept mine. We never tried to be anything we weren't. And for the first time in either of our lives, that was enough. That was home. That was enough. That was home.